Welcome again to the Q2 Audit Q3 Priority and Success Path Setting session. This is where you're going to learn to define your 90-day business objective and achievement strategy. What I'm going to do is, through this shared screen, I'm going to actually show you how this is done by showing you how I just did it. So I'm going to walk you through my Q3 Priority and Success Path plan by showing you how I audited my Q2 objectives. And so we are looking at July through September 2025. We just wrapped up the second quarter. And this is something I've been working on for about 2 weeks. It literally changed this morning and in ways that I am very excited about. And so I owe all of you a debt of gratitude, because thanks to the fact that I put myself on the hook to do this presentation and show you this process, I've come up with perhaps my most clear and succinct and specific priority and plan, success plan to date. So there you go. Thank you all. So when you are talking about defining your 90-day goal, it is important to remember what the goal of the goal is. We all look at our business often, I won't say all, some of you are way smarter than I am, but for a long time, I spent a lot of time treating my business as if it was my life. So my 90-day objective was just, how do I earn more money? How do I save more time? How do I do more stuff? And I wasn't paying attention to the fact that when I started my business, I didn't dream of working 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, doing work oftentimes that I didn't really enjoy doing that much, and oftentimes working with people that I didn't enjoy working with that much. I had lost track of the lifestyle, the vision of the lifestyle I wanted to have and fund with my business. And so I think almost everybody gets into solopreneurship because, you know, you have this skill or this talent or this process or this framework or this product. Oftentimes it's something that's based on a problem or challenge you solve for yourself, and you think, oh, this would be a great business. I'll create a business around this. And in the process of creating that business, you create basically a lifestyle where all you're doing is working all the time. You've lost sight of the goal of the goal. The goal of your business is to work as little as possible, to put forth as little effort, as little attention, and invest as little money as possible, so that you can invest all of that time, money, attention into the life that you want to lead. And so the very first thing is to define your next immediate business priority and your success plan. You have to know what the current ideal lifestyle vision that you have is. You have to identify where you're at, what you have, and articulate and own, meaning take agency, be responsible for what's generating that outcome. So this is not, I'm not trying to, you're not trying to figure out the meaning of life here. You're not locking in some sort of 10-year, 20-year, 30-year, 50-year plan. You are just trying to get a good enough grasp of what a meaningful and fulfilling life looks like and feels like for you, given who you are, what you know, and where you are right now. This, again, really important. This is not a fixed statement of the life that you're building, the lifestyle that you're building. It's your best guess, your best hypothesis, the best version of that you can define based on what you know now. And so here's some things that you can consider as you're trying to define your lifestyle vision. Is, what does it look like and feel like when you're playing your game on your terms without compromise? Most of the solopreneurs I work with come to me with, I need to optimize my Facebook ad strategy. And I'll say, oh, that's interesting. Do you really like Facebook? Oh, no, I hate Facebook. Oh, Do you like doing video content? I hate being on camera. It's like, why are you building a business around being on video and doing Facebook advertising? Well, because someone told me that that's the only way I can succeed. Well, that's insane. You are building a business that funds and fits a life that you don't even want, doing things that you don't want. You have to define for yourself what it means for you based on your personality, your preferences, your tolerances, your temperament, your talents, your values, your guiding principles. What does a fulfilling life look like to you? What does it look like when you're playing your game on your terms without compromise? Then you have to define, what's the game that I'm currently playing? Take an audit of all the things that you're doing. Which of those things align with who you are, what you're good at, and where you belong? Which ones are out of alignment with those things? Then you have to decide what activities, attitudes, and behaviors got you where you are. What are the cognitive distortions? What are the things that you're doing that are out of alignment with who you are? With enough clarity about your current life and business direction, you can establish your philosophy, what you assert or believe to be a well-lived life for you, a legacy worth living now that will be remembered in the future. So what I have done to establish the goal of the goal is taken the same priority statement that I talked about in Close the Gap. Again, something, this is my iteration of something that I learned from Nick Peterson through his book Bumpers. I think it's on page 50. This learning how to do this absolutely was the beginning of me changing my business for the better. So my lifestyle priority is, I know I'm living my ideal life when I can spend my weekdays 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. caring for my grandson. To accomplish this, I need to work fewer than 10 hours per week and earn at least $60,000 per year. If I accomplish that, I am actually living my ideal lifestyle. And so, as I just shared, mission accomplished as of last week. If I wanted to, I could actually, because I've accomplished my number one lifestyle priority, I could go down to my number two, which actually, now that I think about it, we actually did. So our number, after locking in annual revenue, my wife and I have a lifestyle goal of purchasing a new house. And we actually want to become tiny house people. And so we have, started to, because everything is locked in now, we could start putting money aside for the house. And we've actually done some exploration, because we live in a place, in an area where there's a lot of tiny homes. We've started to look at tiny homes. Like, can we actually do this? Does this feel right? Where in the county do we want our tiny house to be? Our actual number two goal is to fund our year of travel that we plan to have after we've finished our tour of duty as full-time grandparents. But we actually locked that priority in before we locked in this current priority. So the thing about priorities is there's only one. Like, a priority is the most important thing, the one and only most important thing. We don't try to fund three priorities at once, because if we try to fund three priorities at once and something happens, then we haven't accomplished three things. If we accomplish one priority by putting all of our resources into it, then we can lock it in and move to the next priority. And then if something happens, well, at least we had the number one thing taken care of. So that's the thinking here. I want you to notice the specificity and sufficiency of this statement. I didn't say that I want something vague, like I want more time with my family, or I want more money. I didn't put some ridiculous arbitrary income figure that would fund that, like 100,000 or 1 million. And I didn't put anything that I don't actually want. Like, for years, my wife and I would say, oh, we want a beach house. And then one day I was like, do we really want a beach house? Do we want a property that's going to probably get destroyed every 3 years, that we have to, manage do the upkeep and put up with all the hassles of renting it out, the off season and all that kind of stuff. It's like, no. So you have to put some real thought into what the lifestyle priority is. With your lifestyle priority clarified enough to provide direction, I know where I am, I know where I want to be, I know where I'm starting from and what I'm starting with. So I know what's missing, broken, or needs work in order to accomplish the 2 or 3 things that have to go right to accomplish my goal. That's enough clarity. We can now establish our next SMART objective. So I'm kind of on record as not being a big fan of SMART goals, but I'm going on record saying I've kept the loop open and I've changed my mind. Because when it comes to a 60, 90, 30-day goal, it's actually really good to have something that is specific, that is measurable, that is achievable, that is relevant, and that is time-bound. I am not a fan of SMART goals when it comes to your long-term goals. A SMART goal 10 years in the future is something that most people cling to. And by the time they get grind and grit and hustle their way there, they find out, oh, that's not actually what I wanted. I like to hold my lifestyle vision loosely and change it when necessary. When my wife and before my wife and I became full-time grandparents, we sold our house during the pandemic because we thought once the world opened up, we were going to become world travelers. That was the #1 priority. And we knew we could accomplish that in 2 or 3 years. And we were well on our way when our kids announced that they were pregnant and we decided to become full-time grandparents. Well, if we had just clung to that vision of being world travelers, we would have said, oh, good for you. See you later. We're going to, live in Paris for a month. And we reserve the right to change our mind. So that is the value of keeping, not being as invested in your long-term lifestyle vision as it is in your short-term objectives that are going to help you close the gap. After you, so the first step, is to identify your most immediate constraint. What is the #1 impediment to my accomplishing my lifestyle vision? What am I trying to accomplish? Where's the kink in the hose that's preventing me from watering the garden of the lifestyle of my dreams? I'm going to give you 3 processes. The last one is the best one, but not everyone is going to have what they need to use the last system. So for those of you that maybe have never done this before and are trying to create a SMART objective, 90-day objective that is measurable, is specific, is achievable, is time-bound, here's some things to think about. When you look at where you are, what you have, where you want to be, and what that requires, what's the smallest move that will create the biggest improvement? What moves you forward the furthest and the fastest? What is the optimization of the strategy that already has traction? How can you raise the floor on something that's working that you can make work better? That would be one way. The second way is, this isn't a question, but it's a statement. This is impossible unless. So if you feel like what you want to accomplish is not possible, take a look around at other people that are trying to accomplish things that you want to accomplish. Who's succeeding? How are they doing that? What are they doing? That will help you define the next right thing that you can do to start to close that gap. Then the third question is, which has the best worst case scenario? So this is a really important one, regardless of how many times you've been through this process. I'm totally a fan of watching people swing for the fences, going for the humongous win, putting everything on black 36 and rolling the roulette wheel. It's awesome when they win. It's awesome when they hit a home run. Unfortunately, 99% of people that do that will strike out, burn out, blow themselves up. And so one of the most important things about setting objectives is making sure that you are mitigating risk and creating asymmetric potential benefit to the upside. So you want to do whatever you can to make it zero risk or very low risk, and whatever will optimize the upside potential. So one of the key things that we do here is talk about micro steps, little small steps into possibility, where we can run what we call a case, collect the data, assess the data, strategize based on what the data told us, and then execute the new strategy that has been created based on data that we've analyzed. The second thing that you can do to identify a constraint is to think about reverse engineering options. So if my goal is to build this lifestyle that allows me to take care of my grandson, where do I want to, and this is actually exactly what we did. Like, okay, in order to do that, I have to accomplish that in a year. What would have to be true by the end of this year? Well, I'd have to reduce my working hours by 80%. I'd have to go from 100 hours a week to 10 hours a week. To do that, what would have to be done by the end of the first quarter? Well, I would have to do an audit of all of my current activities and eliminate all the things that aren't moving the needle, that will automatically free up time, energy, money that I can reinvest and reallocate to things that will work. What do I need to do by, what would need to be true by the end of the month? I'd have to have my audit complete. I'd have to have implemented that. And then just, again, working your way back. So if that has to be done by the end of the month, what has to happen in order for that to be true by the end of this week? In order for that to be true, what must be true by the end of tomorrow? So you just step yourself back from your big goal down to the smallest micro step, the thing that you could optimize or raise the floor on, and right here, right now. Now, I'm going to show you how I went about defining my 90-day objective. And this is this is where you want to get. I have created a system that works. Every system is perfectly designed to get the results it gets. If you are, spending 100 hours a week to earn, part-time pay, let's just say $30,000 a year, and you get up to today and do exactly what you did yesterday, what's going to happen? You're going to get the same exact results that get you where you are right now. It's not until you have a system with a clearly defined set of components and you are able to articulate and define the effectiveness and the efficiency of the entire system of each component, and thereby define the overall effectiveness and efficiency of the system. You have to have real numbers. And this is where, some people, I lose people because people don't like to do spreadsheets. People don't like to look at numbers. Well, that's probably an invitation for you to have a very interesting conversation with yourself about how serious you are about accomplishing the things that you want to accomplish, and why you're unwilling to open a loop and change your behavior. Because most of us will not do this because we fall prey to the number one deterrent to self-actualization, which is guilt, shame, imposter syndrome, fear. If you think fear of failure hurts or gets in the way, I know from personal experience that the fear of success oftentimes is the biggest impediment to someone's success. So if you're not a person that, if you don't want to become a data-driven person, that's absolutely fine. I'm not here to convince you of anything. I would assert that based on my experience that you are pretty much guaranteeing that you'll just continue to get the results that you're getting. Collecting data is not fun or sexy until you collect data and optimize the system and start getting some velocity towards the things that you actually want to accomplish. I hate numbers. I hate math. I hate being a data-driven person until I started accomplishing my revenue numbers 3, 6 months ahead of schedule. Now I love me some numbers and I don't mind a spreadsheet. So consider, again, opening the loop, try it on for a month, put together a 90-day plan that provides data. That can be your very first 90-day goal. I need to define my system and I need to collect the numbers. Do that. And then you have a system that can be optimized and you will ensure your ability to close the gap with greater velocity and ease. So for those of you that have participated in this training before, you know that I'm a big fan of checking the rearview mirror. What is my analysis of the data from the previous quarter tell me? Well, here's what it revealed. And just to set the table a little bit, the way that my client acquisition system works is that I don't consider anyone a prospect until they've given me their email address by subscribing to my Substack. I don't consider anyone a lead until at the very least they have become a paid subscriber to my Substack. I do now have other gateways. You can come in through the side door through a program called Inbox Catalyst, which is just I help people establish their number one business priority and their number one constraint. And that leads into a low ticket $100 coaching by email exchange that you'll see will leads to my primary offer, the Cornerman coaching, but now there will be other ways. But those are my warmer leads. And then of course, my very hottest leads, my best source of referrals are the people that are my Cornerman coaching clients. Those are the people that are on a 1 month or a monthly subscription. They get access to everything, all of my coaching IP, all of my processes and frameworks. And we work together until I coach myself out of a job, which is always my number one job. So here's what the data shows. At the close of the quarter yesterday, I have 1,111 subscribers. I have 54 paid subscribers. That gives me an upgrade percentage of 5% total. My total for the quarter is actually much higher than that. It's almost 20%. But those of you that were part of this presentation last time know that I worked really hard over the last several quarters to just boost my upgrade percentage on Substack from free to paid. I started like everybody else with the average of 2%, and it has climbed steadily over time to 5% overall, but the quarterly percentage is much higher. So I did something that's working. Fantastic. Last quarter, I created this Inbox Catalyst program. This is a $100 coaching by email offer that I used as an additional gateway for creating prospects and leads. I had 40 people sign up for the Business Focus Helper. It's a GPT I created to initiate the process of defining a priority and a constraint. Out of 40 people that signed up for the Business Focus Helper, 12 upgraded to the paid $100 Inbox Catalyst offer. That is an upgrade percentage of 30%. And if you know anything about conversion percentages, that's not bad. In fact, it's pretty damn good. And last quarter, I enrolled 5 new clients into Cornerman coaching, and that gave me a lead conversion. So my leads are my paid subscribers and my Inbox Catalyst upgrades. And that conversion rate is 8%, which is not fantastic, but probably slightly above average. But as I'm analyzing this data, does anybody want to hazard a guess as where I found the blind spot or black hole where I wanted to optimize the system? I'm going to come off for a second. Anybody want to hazard a guess? Safe space. I love it when people volunteer answers even when they're not correct. No brave souls? Not even Jeff. Jeff's not going to be half a shade braver today. All right, I'll go back to this here. And I'll just tell you, the lowest hanging fruit is always at the end of the conversion mechanism. If I can convert more leads into clients, those are the people that have the most awareness, who are paying the closest attention, with whom I've earned the greatest permission and trust, and have already expressed interest in how I can further help them. I've moved all the way through the marketing cycle. They're aware of who I am. They're paying attention. They've given me permission to talk to them through email conversations, and they trust me enough to cross the chasm to the sales cycle where they are interested in what I do, enrolled in the journey that I could take them on, and possibly ready to invest in that change. So I'm going to focus on upgrading my lead percentage, how many people that are prospects convert to leads, and even more importantly, how many leads convert to actual clients. So that leads me to my priority statement. I know I'm being successful when that should be my lead conversion rate it's supposed to be when I improve, you know what it is? I think I said double. Let me fix that while I'm actually here in real time. I know I'm being successful when I double my lead conversion rate with a mid-tier offer by September 30th, 2025. To accomplish this, I will need to invest 2 hours a week. So I have a mechanism to convert looky-loos to prospects by becoming paid subscribers. I have mechanisms to turn free subscribers into paid subscribers, and I have mechanisms to convert interested free subscribers and followers and interested paid subscribers into purchasers of a low ticket offer. And what I have been doing for the last quarter is trying to convert those people that have purchased $100 offer or $100 subscription to buy into $1,000 a month subscription coaching program. And so that's the biggest friction point. That's a leap too far for most people. So what's been missing in my approach is this mid-tier offer. I want to pause here for just a second for those of you that are familiar with the forever offer format. The forever offer is not any of these offers. Those offers are products that are reflections of facets of my forever offer. The number one thing that will kill your business is to be one of those people that's just always in offer generation, validation and promotion mode. We've been trained by Jeff Walker and all sorts of other people that, the only way to build a successful business is you have to have a power offer or a no-brainer offer, and you have to have a funnel, and you have to do a launch every month or every quarter, and none of that is true. And I say that as someone that has done every single one of those things and made them work and experienced the exhaustion and the dissonance that's created when you create an offer based on somebody else's dogmatic assertion about what an offer is supposed to be. No-brainer offers really do work. They work especially well if you want to work with people with no brains. Power offers work if you really like finding people's pain points and digging into that pain and creating urgency and scarcity and forcing them to buy. Launches really do work if you love validating offers, creating sales pages, building funnels, and launch and going into perpetual launch mode, month after month, quarter after quarter, year after year. What also works is to, instead of trying to trick random strangers into purchasing something, going from a cold prospect to a client in 7 emails, what works even better is talk to the people that already know, like, and trust you, and find out what their fears and their dreams and their desires and their anxieties and their challenges and their problems are. And if you have the skills, talents, interest to help them figure out what that looks like. So a forever offer is not for people that experience this problem, I offer this solution without whatever the thing that they don't want to do is. That's a power offer type of formula. It works, but it's not a fun way to sell. It's not a great way to sell. If instead you just simply understand, start with know thyself. Who are you? What are your values, beliefs, guiding principles? What are you good at? What are the talents that you are just naturally good at? What are the skills that you've earned in school and on the job that express your talents, or that interested you enough to put in the effort of mastering them? And where are the people that share your values and need your talents or skills to solve a problem? I help solopreneurs optimize their business to fund and fit their ideal lifestyle. That's my forever offer. How do I do that? Well, if you're ready, Corner Man Coaching is a great solution. If you're not capable of funding $1,000 a month subscription, then you can move into one of my upcoming offers as a mid-tier offer. If that's a reach too far, you can do a $100 coaching by email program. If you're not ready for that, you can subscribe to my Substack and join weekly calls where you're going to get actual instruction and information and inspiration in how you can do this. And if you're not ready for a $9 a month subscription, just read all the free stuff. There is nothing that I teach that is not available for free. All the information, all the knowledge in my possession is available for free, because you're not paying me, anybody that's paying me, you're not paying me for my information. You're paying me for my curation. You're paying me for access to me. You're paying me for the space in my brain that I reserve for people in my community or that are currently clients. You are paying me for implementation that helps you collapse time to target with greater ease and velocity. That's what you pay me for. So the whole point of a forever offer is you don't have to build a funnel. You don't have to create a power offer. You never have to do a launch. Do your thing out loud and in public. Do your thing and let them watch. The right people will consistently ask for greater proximity and access to you. And if you teach them and train them up at each level, you are creating an endless pipeline of potential clients. So that's the foundation of all this. Is I'm not, and so when I look at my where's the kink in my system, where do I need to optimize? It's the client acquisition, that last step where someone has purchased something from me, got a great result, and needs to have a little more encouragement or a little bit more proof, or maybe a little more success before they opt into my highest ticket thing. And so what I decided to do, I'm going to go a little bit ahead, is I decided to create 2 mid-tier offers, 2 new gateways into my world, into my coaching, for people to experience my ecosystem and coaching style, so that they are more likely to stick around, and when the time is right, and when they have decided for themselves that working with me at any level is the next right step, that they can do that. Really important to talk here about, well, number one, I don't want anybody on this call to look at what I'm doing and say, that's what I need to do, because you do not. If you are on this call and you are earning less than $3,000 to $5,000 a month, or the annual equivalent, this is not what you need to do right now. What you need to do is figure out your forever offer. You need to figure out your conversation mechanism for how you're going to engage people that are prospects and turn them into clients for whatever your offer is, your premium offer is. I am showing you this because it's been, for those of you that have followed along, this is the next iteration and improvement for me. I started with a Substack. This is after, so again, I had a very successful business that was basically being a coach to coaches. It was called the Coaching Business Prescription, and I was teaching people how to, teaching coaches how to set up a successful coaching business using ads and funnels and all the things that I hate doing. And I became very successful in terms of revenue. I became very unsuccessful in terms of being a happy, healthy person living their ideal life. I literally blew up that business and spent a year in the wilderness trying to figure out who I am and what I want to do next. And it started with a free Substack. When I, a month later, put in the paid version, I didn't even know what I was giving paid subscribers, and people just bought it because people liked the content. People who already knew me wanted a deeper level of access. And I literally just started conversations with those people until I figured out what most of the people that I care about and like wanted. And I started to build, I created a premium offer, because if you can sell your highest ticket thing first, number one, it validates your forever offer, that you're good at what you do. You're also creating revenue that sustains your business so that you can survive as you build out the rest of your business, as you iterate and improve your systems. So free, low ticket upgrade into a paid community, sold a high ticket thing, made enough to validate the idea and provide the data that I needed to optimize, implemented a low ticket upgrade from the $9 subscription with a $100 email coaching. And now I'm seeing like there's this gap. The number one thing I don't want to do is create a new offer. And everybody's saying, but wait, you have 2 new offers there. Come off share here for another second. Anybody want to tell me how I'm not violating my own principles by creating new offers? Bree, I know you know. You just might not know that you know.
Your forever offer remains the same. You're just offering like different tiers. Again, the word offer, you're giving different tiers of that forever offer. So it's not redoing a new offer.
Exactly. So I'm going to share my screen. And for those like Penny will see this, Bree will see this. Jeff and Paul might see this, but I'm going to show you how I am actually doing this without creating any new work for myself. So when I have, this is in the Close the Gap guide. I have this thing called the 4 lenses. I learned this from Dan Nicholson, author of Rigging the Game. Before I do anything, any new thing, it has to check 3 of the 4 lenses. 2 of the lenses are quantitative. Will this save time? Will this save money? 2 of the things are qualitative. Will this make money? And is this a forcing function? If you don't know what a forcing function is, it's something that forces you to do something that you have to do anyways, something that compels you to do something that you want to have to do anyways. When I created the Close the Gap program, which Bree and Penny just graduated from, I started with a partnership with Nick Peterson, and he had a program called the Arena that offers monthly calls that help solopreneurs, independent business owners optimize their business with his principles and philosophy. And alongside that, I offered a call every Wednesday so that people were getting weekly support while they were waiting for the monthly call on the Arena. As that program unfolded, I saw some improvements that needed to be made. And so first I started to offer members of Arena Catalyst a onboarding call at the beginning of every quarter to define to analyze their data, their previous quarter data, set their number one business priority and their success plan. That was a big improvement. Lots of people like that. Then I went into, then I added that I would give them daily Voxer access, meaning they got coaching every day, text-based in a Voxer app. It's just a walkie-talkie app. You can do voice, you can do video, you can do text. I'm a text person, so even if they share audio, it gets turned into text. So, this is also a fundamental principle for those of you that are thinking about forever offers. Like, how do you do what you do? How do you help people accomplish the thing that you promise you can help them accomplish? You have to have your frameworks, right? You have to have your process. If you don't know what that is yet, then that's your first 90-day goal, is what are the frameworks? What are the processes? What are the principles that help me help other people accomplish the things that I promised them I can help them accomplish? As you get all that established, you can start moving more into strategy and tactics. And so, but one of the things about creating offers like this is, Bree and Penny, and there's, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 other people that came in and went through this program on a quarterly basis. Through those discussions and so forth, I determined that things needed to be like, it would be good for them to have these additional things. So my big thing is, like, your early adopters and your innovators, the people that buy early, they get everything. Every time I provide an upgrade to a future customer, the people that have already bought automatically get that. So Bree and Penny are 2 of the 10 people or so that bought a monthly call with Nick and a weekly call with me. And when I decided that they also needed to have an onboarding call, they got the onboarding call for free. But the people that came in behind them paid more. When I decided that Voxer access was also going to be something that would help clients, they got it for free. Everybody else paid more. So as you're thinking about these things, you have to remember, you have to take care of those people that believed in you in the beginning. After, when I decided to come up with these mid-tier offers, then I put it through the 4 lenses. Will this save time? Will this save money? Will this make money? Is this a forcing function? Well, will it save time? Certainly doesn't cost me any time, because I already have the inner circle content recorded. Will it save? And I don't have to create anything new. I already have the inner circle content created, and I already have a Voxer offer in place. It's just packaged in a bigger offer. So no time lost. Will this save me money? Well, anytime I don't have to invest any time in something, I'm kind of automatically saving money. Will this make me money? Well, it's a mid-tier offer, something that's going to cost between $200, $300, and $500. So if I sell any of them, I will definitely make money. And is it a forcing function? The inner circle offer is a curated vault of all of my core fundamental trainings. It's something I have to do anyways, because the current iteration is a Substack post with a bunch of links on it that nobody visits because it's too confusing. So I need to do this anyways. Creating an offer around that forces me to get it done. I'll show you the results of that in just a minute. So I decided to create, and this is, what I'm doing is I've moved all the way across the barbell. And if you don't know what the barbell is, it's in the Close the Gap book. I had an experiment that was something that I believed and played with and experimented with and tried to turn into a viable paid offer. I moved it all the way across the barbell and I sold a bunch of it. And I put it on autopilot so that it's just kind of making money in the background now. So having moved something all the way across the barbell, I have this assertion that these mid-tier offers have potential. There's possibility. There's things that I want to try. I'm putting them in explore mode and going to try to put them across the barbell where I'm exploiting them to help people accomplish their goals while I am making money at the same time. So when I say exploit, I'm not taking advantage. I'm exploiting an asset or a resource that is working for my benefit without costing anybody else anything. So the Inner Circle All Access Pass is going to become so in Substack, you can have monthly paid subscribers, annual paid subscribers, and what are called founders. I had some founders. Penny is one of them. And I was giving them, in addition to all the other benefits of paid subscriptions, I was giving them an hour of coaching. It's very cumbersome, difficult to track, cost me some time. So I took the founder option off without taking it away from anybody that had already purchased it. Penny has upped twice. I think every founder that has bought the founder plan has continued to renew every year. But when I relaunched it with this new offer, now if you are a founder, you get all the benefits of paid subscriptions plus a year of access to this archive of all of my best trainings, access to any future workshops, which include resource bundles, an additional call with a Q&A. It's all curated, it's all archived, it's all available in this neat little package for easy reference, referral, and use. Didn't create anything new. I pushed a button on Substack, called it the Inner Circle All Access Pass. And the funny thing is, before I even explained what it was, I finished my run this morning, turned on my phone, and I had a brand new founding subscriber. I hadn't even told anyone what this offer was. So already validated the offer, already have, not only have I saved time and provided myself with the forcing function, I've already made money, good to go. Boxer Velocity, I'm not ready to roll this one out yet, but it will be actually Bree is kind of responsible for this, because Bree said when she signed up for 3 more months, she said, if there was a way to do asynchronous coaching, I would love to do that. And so in the back of my mind, I was like, that's interesting. People like this email coaching thing. And I have a bunch of people that did the Inbox Catalyst offer for $100 that asked me, can I just do this again? And because it was so labor intensive, I made it a one-time thing. What I wanted to do is give them a win and demonstrate my expertise and then roll them into a high ticket offer. And most people were not ready to do that. So I thought, okay, well, what if I just took the Boxer thing and I turned that into a $300 to $500 monthly subscription? That is nothing new to create there. So I have yet to validate this, but I definitely have plenty of interest. My guess is when I roll it out to all the Inbox Catalyst participants into the inner circle. I'll probably quickly get the first 10 that I want to work with. I can't imagine doing more than 10 of these at a time. So that's the strategy. I need mid-tier offers. I created 2 mid-tier offers. Tactically, I will offer the inner circle all access pass to all of my current circle members. The people that are already founders get everything that they already have, plus this upgrade. This is, I'm just going to go out on a limb, Penny, and guess that when you heard me say free new founder program, Penny as a founder was probably going, well, what the hell? I was a founder at the very beginning. Why don't I get this? Everybody that's already a founder gets everything they have and anything that I add to it automatically. Boxer velocity is just a low friction. Now I can, in my last email to inbox Catalyst participants, I could just say, hey, would you like to continue this? I have a, whatever it's going to be, a $300 monthly subscription. You get Boxer access every Monday through Friday. And we can continue the work together. Empathetic antagonism. Those of you that are familiar with me and my work know that I believe in this. I'm a big believer in empathy, like real empathy. Like I love myself first before I love anybody else, and I do everything in my power to see, hear, and understand where people are and where they want to be and what anxieties, fears, hopes, dreams they have, and then I try to be a mirror so that they can see for themselves how they are complicit in their own lack of progress. And by doing that, get under their skin just enough to open a loop and consider the solutions and the processes and the principles that I have. And then the Silver Bullet campaign and Be Helpful campaigns. We'll actually talk about this next Tuesday. So if you're a circle member or become an inner circle member, you'll be able to attend this training. Silver Bullet campaigns and Be Helpful campaigns are ethical ways to boost your revenue immediately in ways that are fully aligned with your integrity, delivering real value and real solutions to people that are eager for you to share how you can help them. And so they're high integrity, high conversion, mostly email strategies, but they don't have to be done by email, that deliver real value to people, that inspires the right people to raise their hand and request how they can work with you on a deeper, more connected level. And then the tools is Substack posts, podcast episodes, targeted email campaigns, notes. That's all Substack stuff, the chat threads, and collaborations. I've done collaborations with Bree and many other members of the Circle community, by putting them in front of my audience and telling everyone how great they are. I demonstrate my expertise and authority in what I do. So it's a win for me. I usually get eyeballs that normally would not be looking at me in my work because, when I do something with Bree's community, I'm talking to people that are not familiar with me. I give Bree a little authority loop. She gets to, present herself as a trusted guide who is being vetted and feted by someone that may appear to be at a level above where she's at. So she gets that boost in authority, and that's the way that authority loops work. So that is the process. So just really quick, you have to know the goal of the goal. What is the ideal lifestyle, the ideal vision of the lifestyle that you want your business to fund and fit around. Specifically detailed with a number that is required, whether that's hours or money or any other resource that's required for you to achieve that. Once you have a good enough vision of the lifestyle that you want to be living, then it is time to decide what your most immediate constraint is. If you're brand new to this process, the first two processes here will work. If you are a seasoned pro at this, you should have data and you should analyze that data, and that analysis will reveal the immediate constraint and it will inspire you to create the next solution to that problem that you're going to test through your Q3 priority statement. Make sure that you run it through the 4 lenses and that it checks at least 3 of those boxes. If you can't save money, save time, make money, and do something that you have to do anyways, there's probably a better constraint and a better priority for you to set. And then just define your strategy, tactics, and tools. How are you going to accomplish this thing over the next 90 days? What are the 2 or 3 things that need to go right in order for you to do that? So that is the entire process.